Thank you very much. Recording is going.
Okay. Hello everyone, my name is Shubham Kapoor. I am here to demonstrate Informix HQ new features regarding 3.0.0. For myself, I am a senior software engineer too in Informix Dev, SEL software. And with this slide, PPT slides and a live demo, we will going to show you how what all features we have implemented in Informix HQ 3.0, which will come with V15. Coming to the next slide, today agenda we have like advancement in Informix HQ 3.0 and then with a demo of live demo of 3.0. Here are some key features which we have introduced in Informix HQ 3.0. First of all is the advancement in the SQL editor. So in the SQL editor, we have made some significant changes regarding the query history, regarding some configuration changes we have made in the SQL editor, and we have also executed multi-statement execution where user can or customer can execute multiple queries in the same SQL schema manager. Second, we have the support for the large table. As you know, with V15, our big row ID is out in the market, so we do have a support for the same. Third is a drop constraint. As some customer have asked us to give us the feature of the dropping the constraint and from the table, so we have given that feature in V3.0. Fourth one is the DB space alerts. Earlier on in Informix HQ, prior to version 3, if you apply some alert on some DB space sensor, those alert got applied on all the DB spaces, not some for particular. But if customer have requested us that these alerts should be on some particular DB spaces. So we have given that feature as well that while applying the alert, you can select on which all DB spaces you want to apply the alert. If you want some all DB spaces, there is an option to apply the on all DB spaces as well. The other one is the server refresh. This is the new feature and the very important feature which we have given in the Informix HQ that you can select the server or you can directly click on the refresh button in which whereas the data like so your server version or your server type will get refreshed. This feature is important because if a customer moves from 14 to 15, then in that case, Informix HQ should need to know on which version of instance, which version of Informix a customer is running. Because we have made some dynamic changes in the user interface of the Informix HQ that if you are running on 14 and if you are running on 15, you will see some difference in the UI. Now, other feature is the account lockout. Earlier on, there was no policy of account lockout if the user has given incorrect passwords. But now, upon getting some feedback from the customer, we have implemented this policy that if the user or the customer have given wrong credentials at the time of login and consecutively 5 wrong credentials, then the account will be logged out. And in that case, the particular user need to contact to the administrator of the Informix HQ so that the account should be unlocked. In case if there is only one user, like an admin user of the Informix HQ, user need to restart the Informix HQ in order to unlock his account. The other one is the Informix HQ online log. In this, we have highlighted in the user interface, we have highlighted what all are the warning and what all are the errors. So there is like with colors, we have highlighted it. So user don't need to scroll it down up and read line by line in order to know what are the errors and what are the warning. By the color, you will get to know. Then we have the Informix HQ server log. So this is the feature which we have introduced, like the logs which are written for the Informix HQ in the log file, and can user can now view that log in the user interface. We're going to demonstrate all these features in the demo as well. And there are some defects which we have fixed. Several defects we have fixed, but some of them we have listed here in this PPT. Coming on to the next, we have the SQL editor. So as you can see, the user interface of the SQL editor has been changed. We have a toggle for the multi-line execution. If the toggle is off, then user can run a single line execution. Off toggle is used for the onset commands. While if the toggle is on, user can run multiple queries. Then we have the query history. Once you run that query history will go. You can find this query history from here. You can see the queries which you have run. You can load this query. You can export this query, or you can delete these queries. For these queries, we have also a configuration. Like if If you have run multiple queries since long, then this should be need to be deleted after some time, because we are using an H2DB, which is a lightweight database for Informix HQ, and we don't want it to be load heavily with those queries. So in that case, we have so in that case we have a configuration like auto delete after 30 days or auto delete after 1000 entries. User can customize this configuration from the user interface. This configuration can also be found in the user admin page. Coming on to the next, which is a large table. So as you know, the V50 with the V15 big row ID is out. So in that case, our system, our Informix HQ have also integrated the same. So while creating the table, if your Informix instance is of V15, you will get this table size option over there that you want to create a large table or a small table. With this drop down, if you select large table, you can see at the runtime that large keyword has been added to the create statement. Similar to that, in these spaces, if you have a DB space which is like of zettabytes in the Informix instance, you will going to see that in over in Informix HQ as well. What is the size of the DB space? I have added this screenshot from the test environment that I have created a DB space of test underscore ADB, and the size of the DB space is 127 zettabytes. So I have added multiple chunks of 8 exabyte in this particular DB space. Then we have a drop constraint option. So if you go to the schema manager, you select some table, and after that selecting that table, you go to that constraint option. You can find the constraints of that particular table over here. You just need to select these constraints and click on the delete. Those constraints will be deleted for you. Then we have the DB space alert. In this DB space alert, if you apply some DB space sensor, suppose that you need to apply an alert so that you will get notified if some particular condition or some threshold value has been reached. So earlier on, if you apply some alert or if you apply some condition of particular alert, that will be applied on all the DB spaces. But now we have changed this functionality that you can apply alert on some particular DB spaces. You just need to select those DB spaces from the drop down. Or if you want to select all the DB spaces, you just click on tick. All the particular alert will be applied on all the DB spaces. This is the server refresh feature that I have told you already, that if customer comes from 14.10 to 15, migrated from 14.10 to 15, then in that case, customer just need to select these tiles or these servers on the Informix HQ, and just need to click on the refresh all. Or particularly for one server also, user can click on this refresh. This refresh will identify which version, which latest version Informix customer is running, as well as this will also update the version type of the server type on the Informix HQ. Is there anything related to the audio?
No, I think so. I think, or I don't think so. I think you're coming in clear.
Okay. The other is the account lockout. So now we have implemented the policies of the account lockout, that if a customer or if a user have given wrong credential 5 consecutive times, then in that case the user account has been locked, and that particular user need to contact the administrator to unlock this account. If there is only single administrator, in that case you will need to restart the Informix HQ so that the account would be unlocked. Then we have the Informix server online locks, or the online locks of the Informix server in the UI enhancement. As you can see over here, that for some reason, for some error or for some warning, we have given different colors. Like in case of ASF connect error, we have given a red color, while in case of warning, we are giving a yellow color. The other and the last one feature is the Informix HQ server logs. So the Informix HQ logs have been written to the log file. So earlier on, user need to go to that particular server and then for particular Informix HQ directory, and then used to read the log file or used to see the log file for some error or some warning. But now it's not the case. User can directly see that error as well as the warning through the Informix HQ UI. You just need to go to the root page, and over the root page, you will see a monitoring server log tab over here. Once user click on this tab, user can see that particular error as well as warning logs. Coming on to the demo. Now we will see how this all functionality works as in a live demo. So I have already started the Informix HQ on my local system, as well as I have started the Informix HQ on a lab machine as well. So this is the lab machine URL, and this is on the my local system. Okay. This is the landing page of the Informix HQ, where when you start the Informix HQ, you will be redirected to this page on the browser. So the account lockout, which I have told you, if you have given a wrong credentials over here, like for the 5 times, then your account will be locked. In this case, supposingly I have given a wrong credential for the 1 time. So consecutively 5 times, if I have given the wrong credential, my account will be locked. And in that case, user need to contact to this admin user to unlock his account. Now I will be logging to with the right credential. Yeah. So for now, I have added two servers, two Informix instance in this Informix HQ. One is 14.10 and one is 15.10. So to show you the difference of the UI, that is the dynamic UI which we have given in the 14.10 and 15.10. Okay. Let me start first with the schema manager changes that are related to the multi-execution statements, as well as some of the toggles buttons for the continuous failure and auto commit. So earlier on, you didn't, the previous releases, there was no toggle button like multi-statement execution, continue on failure, auto commit, or run as a batch mode. So if the toggle of multi-line execution is on, in that case, user just need to select, give some queries and just need to run. So in my case, I have already taken two queries over here. See, the first query failed because of the reason that table underscore test is not in this database, and the other runs successfully, and there are no result available. So you can see we have run two different queries in the same schema manager or in the same editor, and you get the result. There are some configuration like continue on failure, auto commit, and run as a batch mode. As the name suggests, continue on failure, that means if I have 10 queries and fifth one got failed, then in that case, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 would be executed. Like we have in over the current scenario, that my first statement was failed, but still the second is executed. If I toggle it off, in that case, only first statement would be executed and second statement would not be executed. So this is the continue on failure. Second is auto commit. As the name suggests, if you are running some updation or some insertion in the database and you don't want to commit that particular record, then in that case, you can directly toggle off this auto commit button and your data will not be committed. Once you toggle it on and run it again, the data will be committed to the database. Run as a bash mode. This run as a bash mode works similar to the Java bash mode, that you have some statements and you directly run those statements in one batch. So this is the run as a batch mode. Once you click on run as a batch mode, continue on failure will go off, because in case of a batch mode, if your execution fails on the fifth statement, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 would not be executed in that case. So in that case, only 1, 2, 3, 4, and fifth would be executed. Let's see an example for this. First of all, I will run a one insert statement so that we have a successful insert statement. Now what I will do, I will run with 2 and 3. As 2 is not there, ID 2 is not there, but ID 1 is already there. We have inserted it. So the execution will come out from the 1 and 3 will not be executed in the batch mode. See, 2 is executed successfully. One unique constraint issue we get from the statement. And for the third one, the statement is not executed in the batch mode because the execution came out from the second itself. These all configuration is going to be saved on in the S2DB for that particular user. So user don't need to remember all this configuration each and every time. Once you come on this page, your default configuration is like continue on failure is on, auto commit is on, run as a batch mode is false. But if you change some configuration, like I change this and I go from come from another place like another page, I will see my all the configuration to be same over here. See, so we are maintaining the state, last execution state of that particular configuration. If user want multi-statement execution to be toggle off, then in that case, user can directly run the onStat commands from here. See, onStat is running. Coming on to the next part, that is our query history. In the query history, we used to save all these statements in a batch, in a like supposingly in this case, what all I have run, I can see over here. If I click on this, I can see these three statements I have run in the schema manager. You can also change the name of this particular batch. Like if you want to say statement 2, so you can give this name. By default, the name is with the date and time. You can see the date and time of the running date and type of that particular batch, that at what date and time you have run it. You can directly export this. If I will say export, just a second. See, the exported is export in the .sql and got saved on our directory, download directory. Then you can load this statement to the schema manager. If supposingly you want these statements to be loaded in the schema manager, like the SQL editor, you can do that from the load query as well. Last, you can delete this particular statement if you want to. The query history comes with some configurations, like the by default configuration which we have over here given to the user is that your statement would be deleted after 30 days. So after 30 days, your the statement which was executed on the first day would be deleted. Similar to this, we have an entry. We have the auto delete option for the 1000 entries. If your entries are like 1001, then the first entry would be deleted in that case. User can also change this configuration from as per their requirement. User can select less days or user can select this entries as well. Coming on to the next part, which we have is the constraint option. Like user can delete a constraint from a table. So I have already created a table with a constraint. This is my table. If I go to the constraint section, I can see a list of constraints over here. So I have a column with a phone number and I have given a constraint over there. Now, if I want, I can delete this constraint by directly clicking on this and select the delete option. See, my table constraint have been deleted. The next feature, which is for the last table or the big row ID, is regarding the create table. Currently, my server is 14.10. So in this case, you will not see a tab or the drop down over here regarding the last table type should be large or small. But in other case, see, in this case, my server is server 15. And when I go to the schema manager and if I select some database for creating a table, I can see a table size option over here that whether I need to create a small table or a large table. But in case of 14, I will not see this. So this comes with the features of the refresh one. As soon as the user clicks on the refresh, our database gets refreshed with the version and the type of the server. Coming to the next feature, which is the storage one. Currently, I don't have that much of large space in my system that I can create a zettabyte or DB space. But I took a screenshot over here, which I have pasted over here, that in case your DB space goes to the zettabyte space, you can still see those sizes in the Informix HQ. Similar to that, you can create a chunks of 8 exabyte of maximum space from the Informix HQ as well. So you go to the chunk, you just need to click on add, and over here you will see 8 exabyte over here. So these are the features related to the last table which we have or the big row ID which we have implemented in Informix HQ. The next feature is of DB space alert. So for the time being, I have already added a DB space sensor. You can directly do it from the monitoring section. Once go to the monitoring section and just add a sensor. After adding a sensor, you need to add some alert over there so that you will get notified through an email or through some notification over the Informix HQ through a pager duty that this particular alert has been triggered. In this case, I have not added an alert. I will going to add one alert for the DB space and we're going to show you that that particular alert will be applied on the DB spaces which we have selected from the drop down. If I have selected all the DB spaces, then that particular alert will going to apply on all the DB spaces. So in this case, let me give me a name of this alert DB space. Alert P when the latest value of the matrix, select a sensor. This is the feature which we have given, that if you have checked it on, then in this case, the alert will be applied on all the DB spaces. While if you have not checked it, you will get a drop down to select particular DB spaces. In my case, if I will select root DBS, if I will select test DB1, if I will select new DBS. So this alert, when we will save it, will going to apply on these particular 3 DB spaces, not all the DB spaces. So we can do that like percent %free. If I will say percent %free is greater than 1%. If I say save changes, and when I come back over here, and I can see that I have an alert which are applied on all these 3 DB spaces, not all the DB spaces. So this is the feature which we have given for the customer, like customer wants to apply this alert on not on all DB spaces, but on specific DB spaces which customer want to give. The other feature which we have is server refresh. In this case, if you have multiple servers and you want to refresh the data of that particular server, so you can directly click on the control, directly click on control, select that particular server and directly do refresh all. But in case you don't want to select all the server, you have just one instance and you want to refresh it. In that case, as I have to say refresh all, see the data will be refreshed in the backend. But if you want to refresh for a single instance, the data is now refreshed. That's why this is not rotating. You can directly click on this particular and the data will get refreshed. So this will refresh the server version as well as the server type, that is whether server is standard or an SDR. The next is the account lockout. This policy, I have already told you that if user has given 5 unsuccessful attempts, the account will be locked out. Coming to the next, which we have online logs. So if I click over here and if I go to DB server log, online log, see the logs which are in the warning are now colored with the yellow, while the logs which are in the error one have been colored with the red. Let me search if there are any logs with the error. See, these are with the error and these are colored with red. So these are some basic things which we have given in order to that these customer can see a beautiful thing over here, like customer don't need to search for an particular error, customer get to see with the color over there. The next feature which we have given is the monitoring server logs. In this case, if you will click on this monitoring servers log, which is on the root page, this will redirect to your Informix HQ server log. Informix HQ server logs means the Informix HQ which we are running, there are some logs for the Informix server, Informix HQ as well. So over here, again, we have given the same pattern. Like if there are some error, you will get to see those error logs, error over here with the red color. While if there are some warning, you will get to see this warning in the yellow one. User now don't need to go to that particular where the Informix HQ is running. User don't need to go to over there to see these logs, particular logs, or to copy them. User can directly copy them from here. You can directly see those logs from here in the user interface. User can change the log file if there are some different policies in the XML. User can change those log file from here as well. Depending on that log file will be displayed over here. Yeah. I think I am done with the demo part. If you have any question regarding the Informix HQ VNext feature, you can please go ahead.
All right. If anyone has questions, toss them into the chat. I've actually got a couple here. With the new release, do you know offhand what is the earliest version of Informix that would still be supported with this?
That is the earlier version. So currently we are supporting 12 since 12 and 14 we are supporting. But yes, by the next future releases, we will not going to support 12 as per the IBM, and then we will start supporting 14 and 15. But currently we are supporting 12.
Okay. Um, other question, and just so I can have it on authoritative source, um, are there any licensing restrictions around HQ in terms of any limitations that somebody running any kind of Informix would be limited on using HQ from?
Yeah. So in this case, if you are running Informix HQ, you don't need any license, just the Informix server license is required. But if you are setting up the agent over here, and in case of setting up the agent, we want an database so that the agent stores some data over the Informix database server. So that you can either get the license ones or you get, there is one more Informix instance that is without license one. You can get that one and you can set up it over here.
So I one more general HQ question, because again I've had several people ask about this. You know, we have our own way of tuning down the uh, space usage, but do you have any tips for managing the amount of space used in the monitoring, in the Informix HQ repository database?
In case you want to monitor like Informix HQ repository database, the same goes with the custom sensors over here. So we have an option to apply the custom sensor. You can go to the system setting, you can go to the sensor management. So over here you can create the custom sensor to monitor the database. Currently these custom sensors work over here that you need to select an instance, like I selected one instance. This custom sensor currently work on sys master databases, but yes, we will going to give you our next release some feature like you can run this custom sensor on any databases. So for now, if you want to monitor the repository database, you need to do it manually, but yes, in the future you can do this.
Okay, great. So got a question from the chat is how can we count HQ monitoring user session for authorized user licenses for IDS?
That is not still not available in the Informix HQ. Like who are the authorized or the licensed user, you can monitor from here. That is not yet in the feature.
I mean, could you,
But it,
is there any kind of like login tracking that, I mean, I know you can see current sessions. Is it if
yes,
you,
you can see a current session which are there, like which are connected with the IDS, but you cannot see like that particular session are authorized or not.
okay,
I jump in.
please.
Um, for the purposes of a authorized user connection, the HQ sessions will show up with the monitoring name and the administrative name in your session stack. Those are not counted towards your ASUI license. Those are considered part of the engine, just like the Informix sessions that do system overhead and stuff. So if you have a 5-user ASUI license and you have 5 users actually using the engine, you can still deploy HQ with the full complement of functionality and not worry about license concerns.
Oh, awesome. Thank you. So any other questions? So I think that's it. I really appreciate the talk on this. This is, and I'm saying this very sincerely. This is very useful for me. I really appreciate the active development that you all have with the HQ product. I'm really glad to see it continue development. So, hopefully more people, go out there and deploy it in your environments. It really is a worthwhile tool, and you're not having, there's no extra licenses you need for it.
Right.
So, all right. Well, thank you very much. I'm going to go ahead and stop this recording. We'll start the next one.
Thank